Sal Velluto. Welcome to the Baltimore Comic Con.
Hello, Baltimore.
And today we're going to talk about our new Phantom book. It's more your Phantom book than my book because you're the artist. And the writer and the artist are the most important people. What I'd like to do, if you don't mind, is you and I have been getting different questions from the fans. The first question is, will this series be collected in a hardcover edition? And the answer is obviously, of course we will. As a matter of fact, it'll be collected in two editions. I'm going to collect it in a hardcover limited edition and in a trade paperback version.
Yeah, before we get to the next question, It would be interesting to notice that the first question was asked by Devan Sangrashka. Yes, the next question, for example, comes from Andreas Eriksson, which is one of the, highest profile phantoms in Scandinavia, and you can probably answer this better than I can.
Yeah, his question is, how did the project come together? Peter and Sal and cover artists Graham, and he means Graham Nolan, and Alex Saviuk have all worked on the Phantom for other publishers. Did Hermes Press have the idea and contacted them, or did the initiative come from any of the creators? The answer is actually, it's pretty straightforward. Hermes Press publishes a number of things, including historical reprints, and we also do art books and histories about comic artists. So the Phantom is one of my favorite strips, and I approached King Features 6 or 7 years ago and got the rights to do the Phantom strip reprints. And at that time, another company had the rights to do the comic book, the original comic books. And I wanted to do the comic books from the beginning, but one company had it, and then it was transferred, the rights were transferred to another company who had the rights. When their license ran, I approached King Features and said, I would like to do the Phantom classically. I would like to do the Lee Falk version of the Phantom, the original Phantom, because our company has made such a commitment to preserving the Phantom comic strips and the Phantom comic books. And I said I wanted to do something that was consistent with the reprint material I was doing, but was being created by contemporary writer and a contemporary artist. And it came to mind that one of Peter David's his first job in comic books was writing the Phantom. And funny enough, Peter David always comes up to my booth at Comic-Con or WonderCon or wherever I am and buys my books, the Phantom books, and talks to me about the Phantom. So I know that he loves the Phantom. He's familiar with the mythos of the Phantom. He's a very good writer, and I've talked to him about it, a number of times. You are, I think, one of the preeminent Phantom artists in the world, and I needed someone who understood the Phantom, what the Phantom looks like, what the Phantom wears, who the Phantom associates with, where he lives, the myth of the Phantom.
I think one important aspect that can be emphasized also with this is the fact that it's not just the creators that are able to do the project, but it's also the publisher who's able to carry the project for the duration. In fact, that brings me to a couple of questions that we've been asked by a couple of fans in Australia. One is Jermaine Parker, who says, what is your aim for the new series? Are you hoping to produce Phantom stories ongoing? And the other, also from an Australian fan, Bill Higgins, who is asking if there's going to be a second series. So basically, the fans out there are asking if Hermes Press is going to be able to carry this for the duration, for the long term. Well, what's your answer to that?
Well, the answer is, first of all, the fans have to get out and buy the books. And it's very important that they do that. I mean, we have a 5-year license to do this. And, I've proved that Hermes Press has a fairly serious commitment to the Phantom. As far as the comic books are concerned, our commitment with the comic books is exactly the same as what the other books we're doing. But
And see, and it's not a coincidence that the majority of the questions that we received come from fans outside of the United States, and some of these fans, most of these fans actually, have questions that pertain the sale of the book in their country. For example, we have Jim Lajeux who wants to know if it's going to be able in Toronto. Roy from France. He wants to know if the book is going to be available in India, in Turkey, in New Guinea, in Israel. Now, these are all countries where historically, the Phantom is successful and has had a presence, as well as Australia and even Italy, where there is a fan base of traditional fans that are looking forward to this project, and they want to know if the book is going to be available there. What's your answer to that?
Well, first of all, our license is a North American license. Obviously, we can sell anywhere in North America, and Canada is part of North America, so that's not an issue. The other thing is that there are a number of comic book stores which have nothing to do with Hermes Press, because Hermes Press is a publishing company. We do not have a brick and mortar store. We do not have a comic book store, and we do sell directly to people in the United States, but we don't normally sell outside of the United States unless we're selling to somebody in Canada. But the point is, there are a number of comic book stores that are selling these books outside of the United States. So it doesn't create a problem for us because they have the rights to buy the comic books from our distributor and sell them to anybody in the world. And I know that a lot of our books are available in other countries because different comic book dealers in New York and Los Angeles and Chicago and different parts of the United States buy our books from Diamond, our distributor, and we know they resell them. And so the answer is these people who want this book can buy it from any United States comic book store.
Okay. Now, we have several questions that pertain the storyline and the way the book has been conceived. For example, we have Celso Nunes from Brazil who asks, we heard that the story will be set in the 1930s or 1940s. Are there any plans to have stories set in current days?
Well, I don't have any plans to have a contemporary version of the Phantom, as I've said, and I said in San Diego. At this point, I think the Phantom is a lot more fun if you keep him in his original element. I prefer the Phantom in the 40s and 50s and 60s, and it's our plan to keep the adventures that we're going to do within that specific time scope, the 40s, the 50s, and the 60s. I don't even know that I would get into the 70s. And I think the ones that took place in the late 30s worked best. And I think the Phantom is most comfortable in that time period. So that's just my take on it.
I think also from a stylistic point of view, it's very fulfilling for an illustrator to depict that time period. Now, this coming from the person who's been illustrating the Phantom for the Scandinavian market and doing historical stories as well as contemporary. So the Phantom, because of the nature of the character, fits in several time periods. But I guess it is an editorial choice that has been made. Let's call it even an experiment to see how much can be done with that kind of environment, that kind of atmosphere, that kind of mood. And so far, I've been very inspired in doing things that I have not done with my previous stories involving the Phantom, and it's been very fulfilling. And I hope the fans will find satisfaction and fulfillment as well from reading it.
And that's about it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.